So let's start our discussion with first topic, that is errors. So what are errors? Errors are normally the mistakes we do while coding. So errors are generally divided into two types. First one is syntax errors and the second one is exceptions. Syntax errors are nothing but whenever you do not follow structure of a particular programming language, you get errors. Those type of errors are called syntax errors. Let's understand syntax error with an example. Suppose I have an amount which is equal to 100 and now I am going to check the condition for this amount. If amount is less than 100, then print not valid. Let's run this and check what output we'll get. So here you can note that you have got syntax error and it is telling that invalid syntax. So what went wrong in our code? In our code here we are missing a colon after this if condition. So now let me put a colon here. When I put a colon here, I should follow indentation. Now if I run this, I should not get any errors. Let's check that. So here you can check that we did not get any output and also we did not get any error. That means our program is syntactically correct. So you should and must follow the structure of a programming language whenever you are writing code. We saw that syntax error occurs whenever our program is not syntactically correct. So next let's discuss about exceptions. Sometimes in our programming, though our code is syntactically correct, we get errors. Those type of errors are called exceptions. That means, so what are exceptions? Exceptions occur during runtime. That means exceptions are nothing but events which disturbs the program flow. Let's understand these exceptions in detail with an example. I'll take a variable as number or numerator is equal to, take integer input, enter the numerator. Next, let us take denominator is equal to, we'll take integer input and enter the denominator. Now let's take another variable as result. Result is equal to numerator divided by denominator. Let's print this result now. Let's run this now. It's asking us to enter the numerator. So I'll enter 12. Enter the denominator. I'll enter 0 now. So here you can observe that 0 division error. We are getting another type of error, that is 0 division error, and it is describing what error? Division by 0. That means we cannot divide a number by 0. So whenever we try to do that, we are getting 0 division error. So these type of errors are called exceptions. That means though your program is syntactically correct, you are getting error. So those type of errors are called exceptions. So these exceptions disturbs the normal flow of the program. Now that we know what are errors and what are the types of errors normally we get, let's move on to our next topic, why exception handling. Then why we need to handle this exception? What happens when exception occurs? So let's discuss that. So this is the program we have written to understand exception. Suppose here I have another print function. So print this line, and I have one more print function here. Let's say I am another block. So let's run this and check what happens. It's asking us to enter numerator. Again I'll enter a numerator and denominator I'll enter as 0. So here we are getting 0 division error, that is exception. So what exactly is happening when exception occurs? You can observe that when interpreter come across line number 3, when it tries to divide numerator by denominator, it is raising an exception that it cannot divide any number by 0. So after this line number 3, line number 4, 5, 6 are not getting executed. That means your program is getting halted. So this is not advisable in real time. So to handle such situations, exception handling comes into picture. You cannot stop the execution of the program if any exception is raised. So we need to continue the flow of that particular program. Let's move on to our next topic, that is common built-in exceptions. So there are some of the common built-in exceptions like zero division error, which we have seen in our example, and indentation error. So whenever you do not follow indentation, you will get an error that there is an indentation error. And name error, that means if you do not define a name and try to use that name or a variable in your program, you will get a name error. And end of file error. So these are some of the common built-in exceptions available in Python. There are also many built-in exceptions available in Python. Now that we know what are exceptions, why we need to handle the exceptions and built-in exception, let's move on to next topic, that is how to handle exceptions. So Python provides a way to handle these exceptions and continue the execution of the program. So in Python, exception can be handled by making use of these blocks, that is try, except, else and finally block. So what are they? Let's discuss one by one. First one is try block. So this try block is nothing but try is a keyword used to test a block of code for errors. While writing a program, if you have a doubt that user might enter wrong input or your IO device might misbehave, those sections can be kept in this try block. And then comes your except block. This block is nothing but it allows us to handle the exceptions. That means whenever any exception is raised, what you have to do, that block of code is kept in except block. Else block. Else block comes into picture whenever there is no exception raised. That means it is a keyword used to define a block of code if no exception are raised. So you are putting your code in try block. If exception is raised, control moves to except block. If exception is not raised, control moves to else block. And then we have finally. Finally block lets us to execute a code regardless of the exceptions. That means though you get an exception, this finally block will always be executed. That means if you get an exception, if you do not get any exception, finally block will always be executed. So in your program, if you want to execute a block of code regardless of these exceptions, those statements can be kept in finally block. So in our next video, we will be discussing how to implement these keywords and blocks in order to handle the exceptions. I hope all of you are clear with basic concepts of errors, syntax error and exception, difference between those two, and also how to handle these exceptions and what is the need to handle these exceptions.
You to like our videos to support us. Leave us a feedback in the comment section. Have you subscribed to our channel? If not, request you to click on subscribe button and hit the bell icon to receive regular updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again in the next session. Keep coding. Happy learning.